So we have in our building, there is a meeting. They had a meeting every now and then. They have these meetings of they're the tenant association, where all the people of color in my building, they get together and they discuss how the building management should take care of the building and enhance their peers and stick up for their rights in regards to rent and everything. And every time I pass by that meeting, it's in the lobby of the building. They always invite me to come, and I'm always shy because it's people of color, and I don't feel so comfortable to join. Anyway, I decided this time it was a big meeting this time, and I'm gonna join. So I joined them, and I said, "Hey, how's everyone going? How's everyone doing?" And they told me how their repairs in the building aren't so, they don't have their houses are falling apart. Their apartments are falling apart, and I brought it to their attention that my apartment is remodeled, and I listened to how, their concerns of the Jewish tenants being favored over the people of color. And I listened, and I acknowledged that. I said, yes, it's very hard to hear, and just because they're color, they have to be treated like that and not get normal accommodations. It was a little bit, that one day it was cute because I was talking to them about, hey, the Shabbat, on the Shabbos, the seventh day of the week, we can't turn on the lights, we can't turn on our ovens, turn off our ovens. So if we forget to turn off a light in like a kid's room, we knock on their door and they help us. So we know you guys, we help you out with the Shabbat, and we turn off the lights in the living room, and then you turn off the oven. Anyway, so I was there, and it was a little bit uncomfortable because it was about the Jewish management of the building, and I'm Jewish, and I'm getting treated pretty well here. But I want to show my support, that we're all in this together, and I feel them, and I'm with them. One thing I realized, just I want to finish off from what I said on the last note, is that I realized what was also uncomfortable was I didn't want them to feel like I'm there to report back to the Jewish management, so it was a little bit tricky. Anyway, so I was there, and I spoke up here and there just to show that I'm part of it, not just there to listen in and report back. And I realized that they don't like being interrupted, They're very sensitive to that, very sensitive. And you have to be very vigilant to listen and very attentive, very listening ear, hearing what they have to say. And I spoke to a few of them there, and one of them is actually my neighbor. And it was very, very nice conversations we had. So my insights that I learned from this is that it could be uncomfortable, but it's very important to understand that it's a real thing of race, religion, power dynamics is a real thing. And when I become a counselor, I'm going to recognize that this idea of, this awareness, for example, housing in a building where they can get oppressed or, put on like second class. I realized that. And that also fits in with addressing, with it can be with the diversity, in socioeconomics, I realize how that falls in that there's socioeconomic status, there's their ethnic status. This all affects their status in the building. And it taught me a lesson that you have to have cultural humility. You have to be very listening to what they have to say. And that's it. It can be uncomfortable, but you have to be there, be present, and understand this reality of the sad reality of the systemic bias, that can be happening. Yeah, it was very beautiful, and I think I gained a lot of it because I'm gonna be seeing them a lot. I come in and out of the building and be seeing them a lot, so I feel like I gained a lot from this.